What's going on, people? This is Alex Thorn back with OverAFpod podcast, and I'm joined today with
Dangerous Danny.
Man, last week we went over TNA Lockdown. Did you get any feedback from it?
Yeah, I mean, I know TNA isn't like the most popular brand. A lot of people like the ECW episodes and the WWE episodes, but we just want to give everyone like a variety of different shows. So we're going to be mixing it up. But today we got WWE. So.
And we got here because at the end of last week's episode, we announced that we would be taking audience participation in a way.
Right.
We would put up fan polls, and I put them up on Twitter and on Facebook in a group called Cult of Kayfabe, Cult with a K. So if you're a wrestling fan and you're not a part of that group and you're on Facebook, go ahead and ask for access because it's a really cool group. Guys in that group are not overly fanboyish and very annoying as they can be in other groups.
Oh, yeah.
As we know, that we've been kicked out of some and left some groups because we're just like, we can't take this. We put up a poll to see which Survivor Series would win for the month of November. We had Survivor Series 1989, 1996, 2003, and 2015. And at the end of everything, 2003 took it home. And I'm kind of glad it did because I'm a huge fan of this time period in WWE.
Absolutely. You got Goldberg in here. You got Rob Van Dam, Booker T, Big Papa Pump, Scott Steiner. So you got a variety of ECW and WCW guys, which maybe not in their prime, but still pretty good.
Yeah, this year, 2003, like late 2002, 2003 was finally where it should be with like WCW and WWE.
Right.
The right mixture, because you had Kevin Nash, you had Booker T, DDP, Goldberg,
right,
Ric Flair. You had the players that should be there. Hulk Hogan was in and out at that time. Everybody but, Sting, who would come years and years later. But everybody else who mattered to WCW was there at that time. Scott Steiner as well. So this feels really special, along with 2002, which we'll review at another time. But before we start actually reviewing the show, do you have any specific memories from back then of this show?
I was really pumped to see Goldberg and Triple H because to me that was a dream match for me. To see those guys go at it. It seems like Triple H, anytime somebody came from WCW, like they were instantly like get put with Triple H, whether it be Goldberg, whether it be Scott Steiner, everybody that came from WCW was like Vince is Triple H is gonna be the shovel to these guys and just bury the ghost of WCW.
So weird.
Yeah,
and they'll never admit it.
Oh no,
they'll never admit it, but it's true because nobody who mattered that came through other than DDP. Now, if DDP would have continued his rise, because right there at the end before he got hurt, he was starting to become the DDP of old.
Right.
I'm very certain that he would have had an interaction with Triple H.
Oh, absolutely. I know they put him with The Undertaker, which, I mean, it's not, if I have a choice of being put with Triple H or The Undertaker, I'm picking The Undertaker, So I think he got booked right there.
But it wasn't, no.
But it was comedy.
But it wasn't much better, though.
Well, because he came out as the power positivity, right? The stalker, and then he evolved into the,
pop when he revealed himself as a stalker, dude. It's crazy because you're right. Everybody but him. But even he came in. He got put with a top guy, The Undertaker, which would be, Bruce Pritchard's argument to it. Like, hey, what do you mean we didn't put him over? We put him with The Undertaker. That's the biggest thing you can do.
Right, exactly.
But you made him a stalker for The Undertaker's wife. Which, if anybody knew DDP, he was married to Kimberly. There's no way he was stalking Sarah.
Right.
Right? But nonetheless, the Golden Shovel makes his appearance on this show looking a certain way that we'll talk about later on when we see him.
Oh, yeah.
But Survivor Series 2003, for me, does bring up memories, just like what you said, Goldberg and Triple H. I don't remember specifics. I just remember finally a one-on-one match between Goldberg and Triple H. Because they had been building to this for a long time.
Exactly. I mean, you have Triple H. Obviously, that was when he was with Evolution. So you're going to have Flair. You're going to have, the rest of the faction there. So you're going to expect, the match to not be a clean match. It's always going to be interference because obviously that's what, Evolution is all about.
What's the movie he was getting ready for? Blade?
Was it Blade Trinity?
That's it,
Yeah, exactly.
That's why he looks so different.
Yep.
Blade Trinity, plus he had a pulled groin.
Yep.
But that's all my memories were of this event was, Goldberg, Triple H in a time period. Out of that, no specifics. But we're going to start out the night with Team Angle versus Team Lesnar. And the first person to come out is John Cena. And he couldn't have said it any better. This show is ass backwards. The main event is on first.
100%. It was like a shoot because honestly, I think this should have been the last match. It was, in my opinion, the most entertaining match of the card. And you got some big boys in this match. Boy, oh boy.
Yeah, I'll take Team Lesnar. You take Team Angle. So on Team Lesnar is A-Train, Big Show, Brock Lesnar, Nathan Jones, and Matt Morgan.
And then on Team Angle, we got Bradshaw, Chris Benoit, Hardcore Holly, John Cena, and Kurt Angle.
Dude, I forgot that Hardcore Holly was a player at this time.
Yeah, he was. Well, remember, he was coming back from a neck injury. That's when Brock dumped him on his neck. Do you remember that?
I recall that.
So he was coming back from that injury. So at the start of this match, when everybody's in the ring, here comes Brock Lesnar's the last guy to be introduced. And Hardcore Holly immediately attacks him and gets disqualified right out of the match. So,
did they ever build up to, in your memory, did they build up to something like a one-on-one match on SmackDown, or was it never really paid off?
it never really paid off. I don't remember anything with them having a program.
I think at this point, Brock became too valuable.
Right.
To put him with Hardcore Holly.
Yeah, Hardcore Holly's a mid-carder at best.
He would have taken him. He would have tried to hurt him. Not saying he would have, but he would have tried. I think.
He was one of those people that just like, he was a bully, remember, in Tough Enough. He's the guy that beat up the Matt Capitelli, I think it was. He beat him up for real.
Was that the winner?
I believe, the guy with the long hair.
Yeah.
He beat him up.
I remember.
You know,
like a spaghetti strip.
Yeah, exactly. He beat him to a pulp, man. I mean, so Hardcore Holly was known as a bully, but good luck trying to do that to Brock Lesnar. I mean,
yeah, I just think he would have tried to take liberties with Lesnar. I'm not sure if he would have gone anywhere. I'm not doubting anybody's abilities, but I know that WWE values the hell out of Lesnar then and now, so they won't let anything happen to him.
You can't take a chance.
Situation.
Yeah, you can't take that chance.
There's not a lot to call out to other than how you said they started the show, and how that match began. But I will say the last time we saw Nathan Jones was at the WWA event, Eruption, Revolution. I don't know. I don't remember even the show's name, but it had all this. They had all the same names. Nathan Jones is jacked to the gills to the point where he looks like. Do you remember when Test showed up in TNA?
Yeah.
He looks like Test in TNA.
Yeah.
Like so roided up
that
he can't move.
Yeah. He doesn't look human. He just looks like something he looks like a mutant.
He does. Yeah,
he's just a monster of a man.
And somehow before we pressed record, I was telling Danny, man, this guy got worse. How does that happen?
I don't know, man. He's tripping over his own feet. He's just like there's a spot where Angle hits Matt Morgan with the Angle Slam, and he's gonna get the pin count. And Nathan Jones runs into the ring, and you would think like, hey, my teammate's gonna go in there and break it up. He just stands there and lets him get pinned at 3.
He was in there so fast, so early.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the tale of the tape. Both Matt Morgan and Nathan Jones were constantly doing things fast.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's nerves. I get it. They're in there with a lot of big time players.
Yeah.
But with guys like A-Train, Big Show, and Brock Lesnar on your team, you just had to be big.
Right.
You just had to move and look menacing, which wasn't hard for you to do.
Right.
You did not have to do drop kicks and punch really, really fast and do all this stuff. Like, you're big already. You look threatening.
The Kevin Nash moveset. That's all you need.
That's all they needed. Yes, exactly. Perfectly. On the other side, John Cena is the star. Even though this is Team Angle, Team Lesnar, John Cena stands out amongst everybody on these two teams.
Absolutely. You could tell. This is Thugonomics John Cena who cuts a promo, and he was my favorite version still of Cena. But he did really, really well. Chris Benoit too, man. Chris Benoit, when I think Chris Benoit, I just think believable. Like, everything he did was just so intense. The way he chopped you, the way he suplexed you, like, the guy was just exactly what they said he was, the Wolverine. He was just unbelievable.
I've never been a fan of Chris Benoit, But God, every time I've seen him in the tenure of this podcast, because obviously we're so many years removed from when he left this world. We won't talk about how and all that stuff.
Right.
But we're so many years removed from that we're really kind of desensitized to Chris Benoit. Unless we go back in podcasts like this to watch these specific events, we don't see him anymore. We don't see him in highlight packages. We don't see him on YouTube videos or anything like that. And when I see Chris Benoit, I just say, God damn, that's a wrestler.
Yeah.
Bradshaw's in the transition stages of going from, APA Bradshaw to what
JBL.
would you call him? JBL,
Yeah.
right? To JBL.
Right.
So, and I dug Bradshaw before this look. I dug the whole Texan thing that he had going on.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, Team Angle takes it home with an epic feat by John Cena actually picking up Big Show for the FU, not the AA, the FU. That's the proper name.
Right.
And him and Chris Benoit are the last two survivors in a traditional Survivor Series match, which this whole thing went 13 minutes, and it was well worth all 13 minutes.
Great match. And also, if you guys look at Lesnar's team, we were just talking about how it's very hard to make Brock Lesnar look small, but these guys do it. I mean, he's the smallest guy on his team. It's insane.
Yeah, actually, oh my God, yeah, you're right. So I'm looking at it. Even A-Train, he's a big, solid dude.
Big dude.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's followed up with a women's championship match. We got Molly Holly and Lita. What's your memories, man, of pro wrestling for females at this time?
This is the era where you had the women always coming out showing their boobs, and you know what I mean. Like it wasn't really wrestling. It was more like I don't know how to describe it.
Well, this isn't this is sort of like, okay, let's put it this way.
Yeah.
You had your wrestlers like Lita.
Yeah.
And Trish Stratus.
Right.
Jazz.
Right.
Molly Holly. You had your wrestlers, even Ivory. But then you had Stacy Keibler and Tori Wilson. Dawn Marie, who were the bra and panty girls.
Right.
And this whole era kind of gets subjected to, wrestling wasn't serious before Charlotte Flair and the Four Horsewomen.
Right.
It's not true. There were good wrestling. Like there's nothing sexy about this match.
Right. And
they're actually trying to wrestle.
They're both covered up. So, I mean, Molly Holly was always a good worker, too. So, Lita's solid as well. It was just a short match. You could tell that they didn't really put a lot of stock into it.
Well, it's Lita.
Right.
Lita's not good, dude.
Yeah.
I think Lita was so different that she stood out.
Yeah.
But she's not good.
With the tattoos, and she just had the look. She had the look.
Yeah, she has a look. I mean,
she was like the female Jeff Hardy. Can we compare it like that? You know what I mean? Like
yeah, but Jeff's good.
I mean by looks, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like
yeah, I agree. She fit into that team very well.
Very well.
Yeah, if there was ever like just a natural fit, a lot of times WWE has this habit of just throwing people together that don't go together.
Right.
Man, her with the Hardy Boys, she seriously like completed them. And what a turn from S.A. Reels to
S.A. Reels. Wow.
Yeah, the King of Shotgun Saturday
Night.
Oh
God.
Yeah, but they have a good match. It's 6 minutes and 48 seconds. They do as best as they can. Honestly, it's not going to touch the athleticism that you see in today's female wrestling, but this was a step forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Molly Holly goes over.
Yeah, it was a female championship match on an all-male card, and they didn't have to do anything, scandalous to get your attention.
Exactly, which is the way it should be, man. So here we go. We got an ambulance match between Shane McMahon, Shane O'Mac himself, and Kane. How did you feel about ambulance matches?
I'm going to be honest with you. The last ambulance match I remember was Mike Awesome as that 70s guy.
Okay.
Against Vampiro and ICP in WCW.
That's the last one you remember?
That's the last one I remember. Like, we're watching this now and seeing that it's an ambulance match, and I was like, really? Oh, the only ambulance match I ever saw was...
Yeah, I can honestly tell you, I don't have a lot of recollections of ambulance matches, but, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about them. They're just not very entertaining.
They're not. You'd think they would be.
Right.
You would think so. This is recent after Kane finally gets his mask off, right? We're in that same 2-month time period.
Right.
Where Kane finally reveals himself. I don't know whose idea it was for that. But did you think it was the right move for Kane?
Yeah, I do. You gotta evolve, man. You gotta reinvent yourself. So everybody was used to that Kane with the mask on. So and this isn't it this time where he was making those See No Evil movies? Was it called See No Evil?
Yes.
So
I've never seen part 2. I've seen part 1.
it would make
Yeah,
sense
within that
for
time
him
frame.
to have that mask off. So I'm guessing it was just preparing people to, you know, see Kane in that light.
You're right. You're right. That's
Yeah.
good evolution for him.
Right.
Of course, in the madness of what is Kane now, since he's lost his mask, he goes after Linda McMahon, gives her a very safe pile driver
Yeah.
on the ramp.
Right.
An extremely safe pile driver. But the setup for this match between Shane and Kane, dude, this is wild stuff. We're watching the package, the promo package. Kane gets thrown into a pit of fire. Shane McMahon has his nuts hooked up to a car battery.
Right.
Kane gets tossed into a car. Kane goes into a limo.
Right.
And then that limo goes crashing into like a semi truck.
Right. It cuts like the whole top of the limo off.
There's
Yeah.
so much crazy shit.
Yeah.
So much as some people in wrestling would say gaga, like this extra ridiculous stuff,
Right.
to put this over, because I'm guessing on paper, if you said Kane versus Shane McMahon, people would just be like, "What? Okay."
Well, this
Kane's
is
gonna kill him.
this is the exact type of match that Shane McMahon needs to get booked in.
Yes.
He's not a wrestler, you know. It's got to be something where it's a fight, you know, where it's something where you can use weapons out of the ring, where he can do these high spots that he does. That's the type of match you want to book Shane McMahon into, and that's exactly what you're gonna get. Is like about 13 minutes of, you know.
He's good too in those type of matches. He can't have one-on-one. Everything
No.
has to be a street fight. Everything has to be something, because he's not a wrestler.
Right. Exactly.
Like you said.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, man? Before Kane went completely bald, the half head.
I liked it. It makes him look crazy. I mean, that's the way you want him to look, you know.
Yeah, and this is probably the thinnest I've seen him since his Isaac
Oh yeah.
Ingram days.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, he really trimmed down for this match. You know, whenever you say Shane McMahon in a match, you know you're gonna get high spots.
Yeah.
And the match starts out.
Kane falls on his neck. How is he alive? Did you see that?
Oh my God, dude!
Rewind that.
Jesus Christ!
Rewind it. How did he? Now this fall is worse than him getting thrown through fire or anything that happened. Look at this. Directly on his neck.
Jesus Christ! I went silent there.
300 pounds right on his neck, and he gets right back up.
Thank God these guys are built. They're strong. Their neck muscles are huge.
Jesus, that would have been me or you would be dead. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I would have been dead. I would have had shockwaves going through my spine.
Yeah, that was bad.
Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a match where you're gonna see a lot of high spots and Shane doing his usual.
I mean, we're less than 3 minutes into the bell ringing on this match, and Shane's already setting him up for that elbow.
Yep.
From the top rope to the outside.
His famous elbow to the top, onto the table. Every Shane match you watch is gonna have that. Yeah, he hits him with the car.
Yeah, at one point Shane McMahon backs into him and basically hits him into the authorized personnel
booth,
the security booth.
Yeah.
Where he goes through the glass.
Yeah, it's a
Shane McMahon match.
It's a Shane McMahon match. It's
Shane McMahon would have fared well in ECW as a special attraction.
As a special attraction, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the spot where he did the
Into
move.
a box.
Yeah, it was to cushion him because you don't want to fall on your back.
Obviously.
But yeah, Kane goes over here, hits Shane with the tombstone, and throws him in the truck. And
it's crazy with a match with all that stuff going on. It's like there's not much to say because there's so much happening.
Right.
That nothing stands out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it was a simple match and a couple crazy things, then we could call out to it.
Right.
But since there's so much going on, it's a typical Shane McMahon match. There's your typical high spots, and that's all you can talk about.
That's all you can talk about. It's a Shane match. If you like Shane, then you're gonna like this match. That's all I gotta say.
Oh man, well this is where they plant the seeds.
Right.
Of Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar, because in a backstage segment, while Brock Lesnar is talking,
Josh
Goldberg,
Matthews,
Yeah, Brock Lesnar's talking to Josh Matthews, which was awesome. I always liked him.
I did too.
I always thought Josh was great, and he was good on the Tough Enough series too.
I agree.
Like people were pulling for him.
Yeah, he took a lot of bumps.
Yeah, he did. But at that point, when Lesnar is talking, Goldberg actually shows up and introduces himself to him, which is epic. I know at the time, it was crazy to see the Raw champion being Goldberg and the SmackDown champion being Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. Wow, Goldberg. It's a whole different looking Goldberg than the one we saw in the 2016 match against Brock.
Yes. Well, so many years being out of the
Yeah.
business. But also a different looking Brock.
Yeah.
Because when Brock came back, 2015, 2014?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He looked jacked.
Oh, yeah.
And now, he's a little bit flatter.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still a big guy, but he's just, they're different, They're just not the same, man.
Yeah.
But if you noticed, Goldberg got bigger in his last run. Like when he showed up to WrestleMania, he actually got more built and bigger. He just wasn't used to training like that anymore.
He talked about training and getting back into that wrestling shape.
It's tough. People don't realize it, man.
It's funny how they booked the last run of Goldberg better than the first run he had. Because his first match with Brock was terrible, but the one that they booked the first one, remember when we saw it, we're like, wow, that's the way you book Goldberg.
Yeah.
You make him look strong. It doesn't have to be a 15 or 20 minute like wrestling match.
You never want him in that.
No.
You never want him in that. But we go into the next match, man, for the tag team championships. The Basham brothers with Shaniqua.
Yep.
Versus Los Guerreros, Chavo Guerrero and Eddie Guerrero, man. I didn't care for it then, and I don't care for it now.
Not at all. I mean, the Bashams are just boring tag team. They look like your default WWE 2K freaking 20 wrestlers, with this, I don't know what the hell kind of
I don't know what they're
attire wearing. They look like gimps without masks. And
yeah, she's supposed to be this dominatrix.
Yes, exactly. So they're gimps, and she's the dominatrix. You remember her though? She was from Tough Enough.
Yeah, she was in Tough Enough. I remember her.
But boy, what an athletic body she had.
Yeah, she had.
Good Lord.
She had an amazing athletic body. I don't know if she possessed any wrestling skill, but she had an amazing athletic body.
She did. Absolutely.
I don't think it fared well for them. They might be great athletes or something like that, but I don't think it fared well that she was bigger than both of them.
She is. I think she could kick both their asses.
Yeah, she was bigger than both of them, and it never made sense. Like, no.
Not at all.
Nobody wants to see this.
This is terrible.
You don't want to see them get their asses whooped. You don't want to see them wrestle. You don't want to see anything. You don't want to see them. Let's just put it that way.
They're guys you put in squash matches.
Yeah.
That's it.
And the fact that they're on a pay-per-view against Eddie and Chavo, I'm not digging it.
Not at all.
This match goes 7 minutes, just a tad bit longer, a minute longer than the Molly Holly Lita match. But I will say the card that Los Guerreros come out in is pretty sweet.
That is. Yeah, that was their gimmick, man. That was Eddie's gimmick, is coming out in the lowrider cars. And, Chavo definitely, man. He rode Eddie's coattails like you would not believe.
Boy, if it wasn't, I don't care what anybody says. I've heard so many times, people in the business say that Chavo was great. He just was, unfortunately, he had to live in Eddie's shadow. No, he wouldn't have made anything without Eddie, because Chavo is just a standard wrestler.
Yep. No charisma. No, you just, he wasn't entertaining, so.
No matter what he tried to pull, he just wasn't.
No matter what.
He didn't have it. He just didn't.
He didn't.
I don't know what to say about this.
If there's one match you want to skip, it's this one.
Yeah. Even if you're an Eddie Guerrero fan, this is not something you really would want to see. There's nothing memorable in it. At the end of it, they do a frog splash.
Onto Shaniqua. Yes, they do.
Yeah. He does a frog splash onto Shaniqua. But the Bashams do defeat Los Guerreros. All right. So, we've got our second traditional Survivor Series match with Team Bischoff taking on Team Austin. At this time, they were both co-GMs of Raw. Any way to keep Austin on TV, but keep him inactive because he wasn't going to wrestle anymore. He retired earlier that year at WrestleMania 19. So the stipulations for this match. If Team Austin loses, Austin has to step down this rope as Raw co-general manager. If Team Austin wins, he no longer has to be provoked to actually attack a superstar. So he's set free
Right.
to attack whoever he wants. These are weird. That's kind of a weird,
Stipulation
to have for a match.
Exactly.
That's odd. You would think it would be like he'd have to step down as co-GM, and if he wins, then Eric Bischoff has to step down.
Exactly.
That's simple, not this difficult stuff that they're doing. I'm guessing the show is running a little long at this point because when Eric Bischoff's team, which consists of Chris Jericho, Christian, Mark Henry, Randy Orton, and Scott Steiner come out, they all come out at the same time.
You noticed. I was going to let you know that. Yeah, I was like, wow, they must be short on time because there's no like individual entrance music or anything. They just all come out as one team.
And you've got players in there that you would like to see come out individually, such as Randy Orton and Scott Steiner. Mm-hmm. Even Christian and Chris Jericho. They've got great entrances too.
Absolutely.
So yeah, they're definitely short on time for this to happen.
Mm-hmm. Man, what did you think of Mark Henry back then when he was evolving into that Hall of Pain character?
Never cared for him.
Really?
I just never seen him as anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm on the opposite side of that because I really liked him when he was putting people in the Hall of Pain, right? The Hall of Pain.
Was that later on though? Wasn't that the ECW?
Right, that's what I'm saying. He was evolving into that. Remember, he started getting the look, like with the dreads and everything.
Well, I mean, I guess so. At this specific time, I still didn't care for Mark Henry. He was just on the screen, another guy.
Right.
But I'm guessing when he turned into the Silverback,
yeah,
and put people into the Hall of Fame, I wasn't watching wrestling at that time.
Pain.
I'm sorry, Hall of Pain.
Right.
I wasn't really watching at that time, but when I did tune in and see what was going on, I mean, I was glad for him.
Yeah.
He looks the part, obviously.
He looks the part. He's a monster of a man.
The only reason that you can't buy into Henry is because of WWE.
Right.
They just never put him in very prominent roles.
Yeah, I mean, he had his matches with Big Show where he had the spot where he suplexed the Big Show and the ring fell, right?
Yeah, he had that. He had his match against Undertaker.
Yeah.
He faced Goldberg. So he had a lot of big matches. It's just he lost too many times for you to care.
He has Bray Wyatt syndrome where like what they're doing to Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
Well, not currently, but what they did to him.
Absolutely.
He do all these promos. You think he's gonna win, and then loses, and then you stop caring.
Yeah, but we'll head over to Team Austin, which consists of the Dudley Boys, Booker T, RVD, and Shawn Michaels. That's a hell of a team.
That's a dream team right there.
Yeah, that's a hell of a team.
That is the dream team. You got, basically Team ECW and, Booker T and then Shawn Michaels, but, you got the Dudleys.
Cool, just to have Booker T, RVD, and Shawn Michaels on the same team.
Unbelievable.
That's a hell of a combo.
Absolutely.
If I was to point out two people that stand out from the other team, I literally would just say Jericho and Orton.
Right. Yeah, those other guys. Who else we got? Christian,
Henry and Steiner.
And
Steiner's stock was way down in WWE.
Way down. Exactly.
He had debuted the year before. Mm-hmm. Didn't officially have any matches till January, but we already know January. He literally only had January and February.
That's it.
Yeah. Those were his push months. And after that, he became a mid-carder, and thankfully for matches like this, he was able to be put in them. But obviously, he would make up for it in TNA.
I mean, Scott Steiner, like, in WWE, you look at him, and he's a smaller guy. When I mean by smaller, I mean, like, in height, that moves like a fucking giant. Everything he does is kind of slow. There's no rhythm to what he does. He does, his gimmick, where he puts up his elbow and, or his arm and kisses his bicep and then elbow. Like, he doesn't work fast. He works like a big guy, which is a problem because there's not too many people you can put him with that are going to, gel with him.
Yeah, I've said that before. There's certain guys that get stuck in that. Yeah. Where they're small, but they work big.
Right, that's what I meant.
And then there's some big guys that try to work fast, like they're smaller. And it's like, this is WWE. You can't really cross those lines.
No.
Because it makes it hard to book you.
Exactly.
It makes it really hard to book you. And you're right. In TNA, it worked because the X Division was around, so he could just run rampant all over those guys. Right. But in WWE, it was a lot of 6'4", 6'5" guys. And Steiner's 5'10".
Right.
5'11".
Not a big guy.
He's not a big guy. He's big and muscular, but that doesn't outweigh the personalities and the size advantage of guys in WWE.
It's funny, if I could somehow Frankenstein and switch the bodies or like the brains of Mike Awesome and Scott Steiner so they could work opposite, wouldn't that be amazing? Think about that. That would be crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, Mike Awesome would have made it a lot further in the big leagues. In ECW, he could have done all that. But once he came over to WCW and WWE, he needed to slow that down.
Need to slow it down.
Because that's what they wanted to see, man. He's a big guy that works big.
Exactly.
Christian.
You know what? I think he's one of the most underrated wrestlers in WWE. I really do.
It's
I really
shameful
do.
that he had to retire, dude.
But he had an amazing run in TNA.
Absolutely.
Christian Cage, I mean, when he went
was
over
getting
there,
hot.
oh man, even
before that in WWE, he was getting real hot towards the end there
with Randy Orton.
Randy Orton.
Yeah, one of the best.
I wasn't watching.
Yeah.
But I remember the rumblings online that I think those were the MySpace days.
Right.
Where I just remember, man, there's something going on with Christian and Randy Orton. They've got something, some magic, and. I don't think Vince wanted to put him over anymore, and he left because he was like, "That's."
The fans wanted it.
Yeah,
the fans were just screaming, let's get Christian another title shot. Let's have him win the belt." Mm-hmm. But we all know, I mean, Vince doesn't give a crap about what you think. At the end of the day,
he wanted to put a blue dot on his face.
Right. Remember, he said he was too ugly.
He's too ugly, so he said, "Can we put a blue dot on his face?" And Bruce Pritchard said, "What are you talking about? Like, have him walk out with a blue mask?" And he was like, "No, put a digital blue dot so I don't have to see his face."
That's insane.
That's insane, dude. That really is. I would never go back there.
No way.
If that's what I knew he said about me, I would be like, "Fuck, I'm not." That means he never plans on putting me over ever.
It's Vince, man. I mean,
What could have been, man. I'm sorry. We're watching it right now. And we're seeing Scott Steiner in the ring. I've always been a big Scott Steiner fan, especially once he became Big Papa Pump.
Right.
He's so visually impressive. He looks like a star. He looks like a freak, as he was named, Freakzilla. But the magic was gone by this time.
His WCW run was the best when he was the champion.
Yeah.
I think that was his. Those were his glory days. Obviously, other than him and Rick Steiner as the Steiner brothers.
Yeah, I mean, but we're talking about Big Papa Pump.
Right.
Obviously, he had his peak. No doubt. His peak was WCW. The WWE run is absolutely horrendous.
Yeah.
But he redeemed himself in TNA.
He did.
He had a solid 4 or 5 years in TNA.
Yeah.
Which nobody would have imagined for Scott Steiner after this abysmal run. Including, it almost seems like TNA back then was the place where you went to redeem yourself. Because Christian... he got over, had the best time that he could have, and showed you the star he was in TNA.
Booker T
went to TNA.
Right.
He went there. He didn't add
he
to
got
his
fat.
legacy.
Yeah.
He definitely didn't add to himself.
Right.
That was just done.
Sting
redeemed himself.
big time.
Yes, he redeemed himself immensely.
Yep.
In TNA. God, he gave that company 11 years, I think, of his tenure.
Yeah.
The Dudley Boys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they went over there as Team 3D once WWE was done with them.
Yep.
And it was clear that they were done with them for a long time. I want to say it had to be about 4 years, 5 years, that you could tell WWE had nothing for them.
Absolutely. Yeah,
They just kept throwing them out there.
That's WWE, man. I mean, but, that's what made wrestling great, in those times that you had these places where wrestlers can go and redeem themselves. You had other federations, and it was competition, man. Competition makes everybody else better, So that's why, nowadays you got, AEW out here, WWE, you got Ring of Honor, and you got places where these guys can go. Even the old timers can go and they have some value again.
Yeah, they have options, and I'm glad that time is back. I may not be a fan of AEW, not for any particular reason, because I have nothing against them, but I'm glad that the wrestlers have options again.
Absolutely.
I'm really glad about that. At one point in this match, the same two guys we pointed out as having history are back in this. Last time, what team was it? Team Angle and Team Jarrett?
Yep.
And they were on the same team at that point. Now they're on opposing teams, Scott Steiner and Booker T, still reliving those Steiner Brothers versus Harlem Heat days.
They got chemistry.
They have chemistry, man. Natural chemistry between these two guys.
Yep, absolutely. Booker T with his spinneroonie.
And this is seasoned. polished Booker T as well.
Absolutely.
Hungry Booker T. Breaks up into a brouhaha.
A Donnybrook.
Donnybrook.
Absolutely. What do you think about Stacy Keibler?
Never thought anything about it.
Really? Was it because she just didn't have the...
She didn't have nothing.
She had the legs, though, man.
I have legs.
Yeah, they're not like hers, motherfucker. I mean, her legs are...
I'm not impressed by it. Yeah, but they lead to nothing.
I mean, not everybody can have double Ds and
Well,
fucking...
they don't need to have double Ds. Like, she had this girl next door.
Right.
The cute sister of your friend type look.
Right.
I was never hot on her.
Look at her. Look at those legs. Jeez.
I was never hot on her.
Then
Not that I ever thought she was ugly, but she was like much like Mark Henry. Like, she showed up on the screen, and I'm like, okay.
Don't you... Come on. You're telling me you didn't like her in WCW when she was Miss Hancock?
I was interested in her
Oh,
she was
buddy.
New.
Oh.
She was new.
Unbelievable.
But once she came here to WWE, I didn't care.
Wow. She was going out with George Clooney for a while. You know that? Yeah. Absolutely.
Her dick list after WWE, was valuable, I guess.
I guess, exactly. Oh, the bookend.
Yeah. So the first man eliminated is Scott Steiner.
Steiner, yep.
As the match goes on, I mean, there's a lot of action. It takes up a lot of time on the show. I mean, this is a half hour of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And rightfully so. You got 10 pretty big superstars in there.
Yep.
Plus the rookie that is Randy Orton at the time.
Yep. But I'll tell you what, the star of this match is Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels, mind you, they're in Texas. So you got Stone Cold, you got Shawn Michaels. The crowd goes crazy when Shawn Michaels comes into the ring. Shawn Michaels gets busted open, and I'm talking about bleeding like a stuffed pig. And he's in there with 3 other wrestlers. So
he's the last survivor.
He's the last guy. So he's got to put off the miracle of beating Orton, Jericho, and Christian.
Well, of course. I mean, they put him in the hope spot for being in Texas.
Yeah, exactly. But, man, he gets busted open really, really bad.
That's a pretty capable team, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Christian, Jericho, and Orton.
Yep. Absolutely. This is where he gets busted open. There's a spot where Christian...
You see it?
Yep. There it is.
He's gigging right before he goes.
Yep. Absolutely. Professional, man.
But it's a hell of a slice, too.
Hell of a slice.
Because he fucking, like you said, he's bleeding.
I mean, he is...
He looks like he's been stabbed.
Yep. I mean, look at the blood. It's just dripping everywhere. The fact that I don't understand, like, how do these guys wrestle with this much blood pouring out? Or would you think you'd get dizzy?
They do.
I mean...
But you have adrenaline, dude.
Oh, man. But this is tough. Blood gets in your eyes. I mean, that's what I'm saying. He's the star of this match. I mean, wow. People take that for granted, man. I mean, these guys are doing all these things as athletic maneuvers, and
as you say that,
Jesus.
I'm thinking in my head about wrestling doesn't have blood like this anymore. AEW is bringing it back.
Yeah.
Eventually, I'm very certain that WWE will let it fly again. But you're right. He looks like Hogan at the SummerSlam match where it looks like somebody cut him for real and he's bleeding. But I'm laughing because I was listening to the Jim Ross show. Right. And he said at one point Cowboy Bill Watts went a little nuts with the blood.
Yeah.
And a 20-man first blood battle royal. So you couldn't be eliminated until you bled first. So that's 20 guys bleeding in a ring.
Yeah.
Do you know how dangerous that is?
Well, dangerous because you're probably going to have to get tested for everything in the book.
And nobody got tested.
Oh, my God. No thanks.
That's insane, dude.
Yeah.
Just the thought of 2 guys, bleeding on each other. Imagine 20 guys.
My contract would be like, I want to be booked as the first guy to get eliminated in this match.
You sure you don't want to stay in there?
No, I'm good.
We're good. Ding, ding, ding.
Ding, ding, ding. That's it. Well, yep.
He got busted open with one hit.
He got busted open in the entrance. Like, it didn't... During my theme song, once my theme song hits, I want to be bleeding like a stuffed pig, and that's it.
There's a great spot where, like you said, he's left in there. Shawn Michaels is left in there with Jericho, Orton and Christian. Christian is the first to go after he tries to put on the Unprettier. Is that what it was called back then?
Yes, the Unprettier.
Yeah, the Unprettier. And Shawn Michaels gets out of it, gives him a great super kick, and just falls on top of him. Shawn Michaels, man, an amazing talent that I know he's still appreciated today by the fans. But I hope that when he has his second comeback match and third comeback match, which, by the way, I applaud him for staying away as long as he did.
Absolutely.
But when he comes back, I hope we don't judge him too harshly, because there's guys like this that are very special.
Yeah, absolutely. Shawn Michaels, man, and like the clique says, he's the Michael Jordan, of wrestling, as far as like performance wise, like as far as the in-ring performer, he's the Michael Jordan of wrestling.
I know the debate is always there about who's bigger, Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
But I think
there's not a debate.
I think that Hulk Hogan is bigger.
Yeah.
There's no debate there, right?
Yeah.
But when I say this because I think the real debate should be between Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels. Who was the most complete performer? And I gotta say it, I think Shawn Michaels was more of a complete performer than Ric Flair was.
Yeah, I mean, can you name one offensive maneuver that Flair had other than a chop?
No.
He was just, Shawn Michaels was the total package.
There was a very short period of time where you could put Ric Flair in there with anybody.
Yeah. We're
talking about maybe 5 years. But Shawn Michaels, till this day, I'm very sure, has been a guy from 1992. That was great. Great timing. Has been a guy from 1992 to 2000 and whatever, 5 that he retired, that you could put him in there with anybody. The curtain jerker, the mid-carder, or the main eventer, and he could do it all.
Yeah, and make him look like $1 million.
Yeah, he'd bump around the ring for Hogan like a fool. He would have a competitive match with Jericho, and he could open the show with a Rey Mysterio or any of those small guys just fine. And he would adapt his moveset to fit all of that.
Exactly.
If it was Flair, and I'm not putting Flair down in any way, shape, or form, it would pretty much be the same match, just with a different guy at the end.
Same match. He's gonna take the bump from the top rope. He's gonna take the flip.
Yep.
And he's not gonna win with any type of offense. No. It's gonna be by cheating, or he ain't gonna make you tap out to the figure 4.
And even when it comes to promos,
yeah,
Shawn is a great promo.
He's not Flair though. Let's not get out of hand. He's good, but he is not. Now when it comes to promos, I don't think anybody can touch Ric Flair. I don't see anybody touching Ric Flair.
I would say the competition for Ric Flair in history would be The Rock.
Yeah.
Because The Rock can go on the mic.
For sure. Yeah, for sure The Rock too. But yeah. And when we were going back to the Hogan, who's more popular, I would dare say nowadays Ric Flair is more popular than Hulk Hogan. Because he is. Because if you see him, they got was it 30 for 30 they did on him? He's in rap videos now. So to the younger audience, they're going to know Ric Flair more because they see him on TV more. But to us, of course,
the controversies,
right?
The personal decisions,
right?
By the way, that's really hurt.
Yeah.
Hogan over the years,
for sure.
The bad decisions, which
it
is what it is.
There's still people that are bashing him and hate that WWE brought him back.
He's going in for his 13th back surgery this week.
I believe it. When he was on Stone Cold podcast, he talked about he was doing stem cell as well, and he said that really helped him out a lot too.
Well, they're in Texas in front of 13,000 people, and they have the hometown guys lose,
right? But
in a strong way, which is great.
Exactly. So you make Orton, you make Jericho look like $1 million, but you don't hurt the hometown guys.
Danny, I'm gonna let you take this one.
Well, we're gonna have Undertaker versus Mr. McMahon in what we will call a grudge match. So Undertaker's not very happy because he's not allowed to basically. What did Vince say? He said, "You'll never win the title as long as I'm alive."
Yeah.
Exactly. So they're having a buried alive match. So Undertaker's like, well, I guess I'm going to have to kill you in order to get another title shot.
It's just weird where this came out,
Yeah.
out from. Jesus.
Yeah.
We just watched the promo for this, the hype video,
Yeah.
and there's literally no reason for this match to happen.
None.
It's time for Brock Lesnar to be a heel.
Right.
He aligns himself essentially with Sable and Vince McMahon. And in that process, I think he just got done having a series of matches with The Undertaker.
Right.
Right? And in his quest to become champion, Vince interferes and doesn't let it happen.
Exactly.
And now we've got a Buried Alive match. Once again, much like earlier with Kane and Shane McMahon, we need a lot of things going on.
Right.
For Vince and Undertaker.
Well, let me just get right to it, okay? Vince McMahon is, I would say, if Shawn Michaels is the star of the show, Vince McMahon is the hero of the show, because I have never in my life seen somebody bleed that much and be able to go 13 minutes, because he got busted open when the match started. Okay, if you look at it, when he's in the corner, it looks like he already started blading a little bit.
Yeah.
And then as soon as Undertaker punches him one time, he turns around, and I'm talking about, he looks like Abdullah the Butcher. He's just bleeding everywhere. Like, unbelievable amounts of blood. The fact that he finished this match is unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Night.
Unbelievable. Watch. There it is. They cut to Undertaker. And Vince is just, look at the blood just
There's
pouring.
literally one punch. Yeah, you're right. One punch and Vince is bleeding.
I mean, it's wow. I've never seen anybody bleed this much in a wrestling match.
Well, you know, he's so energetic as well. He's got a lot of blood pumping through his veins. Honestly, he's a big fan of bodybuilding, as everyone knows. You usually take blood thinners to get that pump going. And if you take a blood thinner and then slice, oh, dude.
It's a faucet.
It's a faucet, man. Like, I remember I was on, this was years ago. Wow, it just came to mind. But I remember cutting my finger at the gym one time. And of course, I felt like I had ants all over me because I had this pre-workout going through my system. So my blood is running extra fast. And I cut myself. And, dude, I felt so bad for everybody in that gym. Because the moment I got cut, it was just spurting out of my finger.
Oh, God.
Which normally, you know, that doesn't happen.
No,
so
not
But
at
it
all.
was just coming out because the blood was thin and it was rushing and pumping everywhere. For you to take advantage of that and lift weights.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Vince is on plenty of shit right before this match. And not illegal shit. Good shit that makes your blood run so you can actually be fit and use all your energy. It's insane. You're right.
Yeah. This match is Vince McMahon getting his ass beat for about 12 minutes. Until we get interference by Kane, and, you know, he comes in and puts the Undertaker in the tomb, and Vince drops the dirt on him for the win.
And this is the last time we see Undertaker until WrestleMania 20 and the Dead Man returns.
Correct.
So this is the last of the American Badass.
Right. Which is kind of fitting with this match being that he's buried. Like, that character is dead. You know, it's kind of like very,
yeah.
Speaking
fitting of this being the last appearance of the American Badass. Not that his gimmick really changed all that much, because he still wore the same shit.
Right.
Like, I don't understand why the gear never changed. He's in good shape there.
Yes.
I never understand why the gear never changed. But beyond that,
the Hogan gimmick there.
Yeah, I know. Beyond that, would you like to see American Badass back at least one time?
No. Not this old Undertaker coming out as American Badass, no. I don't think people would get it. You know what I mean? Like, they just wouldn't get it. That was an Attitude Era, gimmick. Now, no, I don't think. I think he has so little, like, matches left that you can't waste it on bringing him back in as an American Badass, because if he's gonna go out, like, his last match has to be as this Undertaker, right?
Yeah, we're at that point.
Exactly, we're at that point. So you can't just bring them back for a one-shot American Badass and then bring them back. It wouldn't work.
Yeah, but I mean, there's not much else to say. The standout is Vince McMahon bleeding profusely, amazingly. Also, this is the very last match for the American Badass gimmick. I mean, we're talking 2003.
Yeah.
We're in 2019. He's still having one-shot matches. Kane is still having one-shot matches. It's crazy.
Yeah.
This is a long time ago, man.
Long time. It's crazy. And when I went back and I went to the WWE Network and I logged in and I said, wow, 2003? I was like, Jesus.
And dare I say, storytelling is much better at this time than it is now.
Not even close.
The storytelling for everything is just much better. A lot of the guys that you see in this event are very believable in their roles. I mean, you will be scared of Goldberg if he's across the ring from you. You will be scared of somebody like Kane or Undertaker.
Right.
Kurt Angle is a hell of a hand to have around all the time. Brock Lesnar. I mean, these guys are legit threats. So you've got athleticism in this show, but you've also got threatening big guys. And then we come to the main event, which is a singles match for the heavyweight championship, which Goldberg is champion.
WCW champion. Well, the world heavyweight champion.
He's the world heavyweight champion. Essentially, at this time, they were really good at keeping the brands separated.
Yep.
At this point. So, Triple H is the challenger.
Right.
When did Goldberg win it? He won it at like Unforgiven or something, right?
I believe so. I honestly, I don't remember. I don't remember who he beat for that. But, wow, Triple H looks terrible. Yeah. He just doesn't look very...
Triple H like it.
Yeah, exactly.
So after the promo package, as you'll see when you watch the events, it's a rematch, which is odd to have. Again, I can't just get over that this is not the match. When we started this podcast today, I said I was so excited to see them, but apparently I saw them the month before.
It wasn't very memorable, so...
Because we remember the big four.
Right.
Occasionally you'll remember a King of the Ring or a Backlash or something like that.
Right.
But in Unforgiven?
No. You can't book Triple H and Goldberg, 2 stars like that in a
throwaway pay-per-view.
Right, exactly. Not one of the big four. But apparently they did, and shockingly, Triple H is the challenger in this match. We're so used to Triple H being the champion, and then he buries, and beats the WCW guy. So this was very surprising.
This is Blade Trinity, Triple H, shaved, injured hernia. So he's wearing these, what are those called? They actually, there's a
compression.
Yeah, compression. Yeah.
The compression shorts or the compression bands.
I wish he would have put a design to them or something. Like really could have did something there, and instead it just looks lazy.
This looks, it doesn't look. We're not used to seeing Triple H in this type of attire, so it looks out of place.
It looks out of place. He is a little bit bigger than normal. Look, he's still massive, obviously, but he's soft.
Right. Look at his back.
Yeah, he's not as cut as he was just earlier at WrestleMania in the year. He's a little looser, and I'm assuming that's because of the movie that he was doing. But then he's also rocking this baby face that kind of looks like a jacked up Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
Exactly what it looks like.
They gave him the title too late.
Yeah.
They gave him the title way too late into his run, and I'm talking about Goldberg. Because there's, I'm going to say more than 40% of the crowd does not care or like Goldberg at this point. No,
I mean, he should have been put into the title picture as soon as he came back.
I don't agree with the Rock and Jericho and, everything else he had to go through before he got to touch the title, because you had to take advantage of that with him.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I love Goldberg. I'm a big Goldberg fan, but I know you could see it in the crowd that they're not very hyped for him.
Yeah. Yeah, watching this match, I mean, Ric Flair just interferes way too much in this match for my taste. I mean, he's all over the place. Other than that, I mean, it's a decent match, Triple H.
It's a half-hearted Triple H though, because he is injured already.
Right. But he attacks Goldberg. He's like, basically that's the strategy he uses. So he uses that pretty good. A lot of interference, from Flair, Evolution. It's a decent match for what it is.
It is a decent match. They just uploaded it this week, which was crazy. If you don't want to watch the entire events and you're listening to this podcast, WWE just uploaded the Goldberg vs. Triple H main event on YouTube for free.
Right.
So you can go back and watch this. It's earlier this year, in the year 2003, we had Triple H versus Booker T, which was a really good match.
Yep.
And in the summer, we had Triple H versus Kevin Nash. And again, memorable matches, 5 stars, of course not. But they were good matches nonetheless for what they were. I kind of feel bad that Goldberg got this version of Triple H. Not that he does a lot, but it's still, you needed Goldberg to be injured. He was injured. Triple H was himself. So there were reasons to slow down the match and use alternate things for him,
Right.
I kind of wish we still got that powerhouse Goldberg versus the powerhouse Triple H.
Yep, the cerebral assassin Triple H, absolutely. But I think that's why you see so much focus on Ric Flair too, to kind of fill that time in the match that obviously these guys couldn't do because of injuries. 1, 2, 3. That's it.
And I gotta say it, the ending of this is so flat.
Yeah, he clears house. Evolution comes in to interfere, and Goldberg hits him with the sledgehammer. He hits Triple H with the jackhammer and the sledgehammer.
Yep.
Both hammers for the 1, 2, 3, and
he
that's
takes out Batista, who interferes for him. He
Yeah.
takes out Ric Flair. He takes out Triple H.
This is like the end of a feud type of match. Like, where can you go from here?
The next month is Armageddon, and they add Kane
Mm-hmm.
to it and do a triple threat. And that's the event where Evolution takes all the gold
Right.
the very next month. Which, again, now Goldberg loses in a triple threat. He doesn't get pinned. Kane gets pinned, and Triple H wins the title back.
Right. But
Pretty early, too.
yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, the feel of this match is like a WrestleMania type of match where they threw everything they could at Goldberg and they still couldn't beat him. So why would you ever want to see a rematch? You know what I mean? Like, this is like the end of a feud type
Well, it's
of
the
match.
second time he beats
Right.
Triple H in a row.
Right. So
you would think at Armageddon it would be a steel cage match.
Right.
Like, nobody can get in. Evolution can't get in. Like, now there's even more reasons for Triple H to use the cage and they can slow it down, but instead they added Kane the next month. Again, as we said, the last time Goldberg had a run in WWE, it was booked the right way. This is just not booked the right way.
not at all.
Man, I gotta ask you, overall, what did you think of the show?
I think the beginning was really the one that stole the show. The first match for the Team Angle versus Team Lesnar. In the middle, I mean, there was really not that many matches that stood out, other than I would say the other Survivor Series match, which had Team Bischoff, and Team Austin. I wish that the main event would have been better. So overall, I think this is like, if I was rating 1 to 10, I'd give it like maybe a 6. It's not a bad pay-per-view, but it's not a good one. It's an okay
It's
one.
a very watchable pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I would say that it's meh. It's okay.
Yeah.
You're not going to regret watching it. You're not going to remember watching it.
Right.
So it's just a great time passer. If you were going to watch one match, I would actually go the opposite way and say it would be Team Bischoff versus Team Austin.
Okay.
I think the star power on that side is much better. The story is there as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that would be the match to watch. And we gotta say this every single podcast. Danny, who did you think was over AF?
Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels was over. They were in Texas, so you had the hometown crowd behind him. Also, the way he wrestled while bleeding that much, I mean, unbelievable. He gave a great performance. My second, I would say very close, is Vince, man. Vince, wow. I mean, he must be in his 60s, right? In this match, and with how much he bleeds, for him to go that long, I mean, unbelievable.
Well, I'm gonna go the opposite way and say A-Train.
Yeah, okay. I'm clearly getting ribbed here.
Yeah, no, I'm going to go with you. It's Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels stands out above all in the entire show. Yes, McMahon is a second, but McMahon does nothing. I get that he bled like crazy, but Shawn actually put on a performance. He did amazingly well.
Not the Bashams, you sure? You don't want to change your vote?
Not the bash.
Okay.
But yeah, for sure, Shawn Michaels. I'm going to agree with you
Yeah.
on that one, man. So Shawn Michaels, over AF at Survivor Series 2003.
There you go.
Next week, Danny, we revisit the Russo era for the first time in the history of this podcast.
Oh, yeah.
WCW Mayhem 1999. We've got a tournament to crown the WCW champion.
Yeah.
Russo comes in October, slightly changes the card to what they have at Halloween Havoc, and he's already, right after that, the Monday preceding, he starts to build up to November to where his plans are to put over Bret the Hitman Hart.
Right.
And there's a way that they get there. We'll talk about it all next week. We're going to start promoting it and everything. We thank everybody in Cult of Kayfabe and on Twitter.
Thank you, guys.
For participating and helping us get to this show. Thank you so much. Again, that's Cult with a K. So if you're a wrestling fan on Facebook, join that group. Ask for permission because honestly, there's a lot of cool guys in there, including some real pro wrestlers.
Absolutely.
Like myself and Animal from Legion of Doom. Joe Gertner is in there as well.
Yep.
There's a few other people that are just awesome to talk to, and they freely will talk to you on there and share their opinions. So with that being said, for Alex Thorn and Danny Garcia, we are over AF.
Oh, yeah.